And Easton, do you have your business idea prepared?
I do. I don't really have a ton of the details fleshed out, but I actually got the idea from a TikTok, but I have written on here Sleep Partner. I don't love the name. We'd have to come up with a different name for it, but okay. Sleep Partner, also known as a wife or a husband. But
that's all I was thinking about.
It's a cool concept. You just marry someone and then they're your sleep partner. But no, the idea is if you could somehow create a group chat, it's almost like a mastermind, but for staying accountable to the tasks or the routine that you have. So let's say there's a group chat of 5 people and everyone wakes up at the same time of the day. They wake up at 7 a.m. and then the group chat gets going right when everybody wakes up. Because I know one thing that I love is waking up in the morning, and if you get into not a heated conversation, but a conversation that makes you think, gets your brain moving right away in the morning, that's what I really enjoy. So if there was some way that you could hold everybody accountable where everyone's getting up at the same time, they're all on the same schedule, whatever it might be. Maybe they all have an app and the alarm goes off at the same time and then it brings you to the group chat, whatever it might be. But somehow getting that group to do the same thing and then just get motivational, fired up in the morning, get your day going.
Interesting. Do you need a human to do this interaction? Do you find you'll be more motivated if there's a human aspect to this?
Yeah, I want it. Like it would be like me and you have the same app, and then it's like maybe it's kind of like, you know how people can share their workouts on their watch, their rings. So if me and you have our rings, and then I text you and say, "Hey, you haven't closed your rings today," whatever it might be. So maybe there's some aspect where when you wake up in the morning, you have to like check a box, and it's like, okay, Tyler's up and going. He's ready to go. He's ready to tackle the day. And then maybe Julia's still sleeping and you shoot her a text and say, get your ass up, or call her, or whatever it might be. But it's the social aspect of doing things together, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So where my brain goes to is maybe it's more so a social network platform, and then you have daily goals that you have to hit. And the only thing I'm not a big fan of is when I first get up, I do my best to not go on my phone. So when I get up, like I'll go on Spotify and throw on a podcast. But then once I throw that on, I got my headphones on and then I stretch for 30 minutes. So I'm not really on my phone for like the first 30 to 60 minutes. I'm trying to basically avoid it at that point. But maybe what my mind goes to is a social network where you have your daily habits or whatever it is, daily actions that you want to take, and then you check them off, and then you're able to see everyone else's progress. And then maybe it's just like a little task that pops up and it's like, Easton completed this, Easton completed that. And it shows like the time, and maybe seeing like the time of Easton woke up at 11 a.m. And then it's like, it would motivate you a little bit more to not wake up at 11 a.m. And it would be like, I want to wake up at say 5 or 6 o'clock and not look like a lazy piece of shit. So,
yeah. And I think that's the accountability part. I like the fact that you could almost move it into an app for your mastermind. And that goes back into what we said earlier. I have a sleep app right now that I use for my alarms that I open. You don't open the app, but the app is open and then you lock your screen. And on the screen throughout the night, it'll track like your sleep patterns, whether you're snoring, all this stuff. And then it wakes you up in a 20-minute window when you're at your least in-depth sleep. So if you did something, and then when you wake up, you have to swipe your phone up to turn the alarm off. So maybe even the action of just swiping your phone up to turn your alarm off checks that box off for you to let everybody else know in that mastermind group that, okay, so-and-so's up and moving. And then you can stay off your phone for 30 to 60 minutes, but at least that one task to start it is, done and complete. So you don't really have to go in there and log anything. But I do like the idea of, hey, we got these 5 people. This is our group. We can go in there and say, okay, Tyler completed his podcast edit today. Okay, Tyler and Easton filmed their podcast today, and they got this thing done, and they had a meeting with so-and-so, and they closed a $20,000 deal. I think just seeing those things from other people really keeps people accountable. It's like, shit, I want to be good too. And maybe it's something that's in conjunction with, if you're meeting with your mastermind virtually once a week or bi-weekly, this is something you can track on the daily too.
From what you were just saying in that last sequence there, it just reminded me of a sauna. and just having tasks there
Yeah.
and just having a board where everyone can be attached with it. I don't know.
And this is our sponsor for the show, Asana. Yeah, I don't know. I've never used Asana, but I mean, I'm sure we can make slight differences so that it's cooler.
For sure.
Asana makes it feel so productivity. That's what I think of when I think of Asana.
Well, that's what this is.
But this is
genius
just
idea.
Yeah. Ideas always need some time to work themselves out.
How did you even come up with, like, what was the TikTok that made you come up with this idea?
I think it was like a Reddit board or something where people were throwing business ideas out there. And then this was very surface level that like people wake up at the same time. And I was like, how can I dive into that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. I like, we mashed it to the mastermind thought. And I think I like that idea better.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, that business idea is done and away with. Tyler, anything else you want to touch on?
Not your best.
About networking? They're never my best. Worst part of the show for me. Every other week, I'm like, fuck, it's my turn.